Mosotunya, or MOT, operating at Victoria Falls in Livingstone, Southern Province of Zambia, makes 3 unique wooden products X, Y, and Z, which are sold to tourists. The company's objective since inception 5 years ago has been to maximize profits. Due to the increase in the traffic of tourists visiting the Peak Falls, the company has recently received orders from new customers for its 3 wooden products. While being delighted with the new orders, the production director is, however, concerned about the capacity to meet the order. Details from the company's budgeted management accounts and other relevant information are shown below. So we've got all this information here. The company has budgeted to pay its workers a fixed rate of 144 per hour for 6,500 labor hours in the budget year. Okay. Determine the autumn production plan. So this is making a reference to a limiting factor. So the first step is that we need to confirm the limiting factor. We need to confirm the limiting factor. That's what we must do. So step number 1. Step 1. Let's establish the limiting factor. Let's establish a limiting factor. So let's go. You've got your product. The products are X, Y, and Z. The units, according to the budget, the units are 140, 70, and 90. 70 and 90. And the hours per unit. The hours per unit, we have an idea here. The rate is 144. And the cost is given here. 144. That's the rate. So let's divide. So you take 3.6, divide 1 by 144. 3.6 divided by 144. The next one is 5.4 divided by 144. And the last one is 1.8 divided by 144. So this is the hours per unit. Let's look at the number of hours that we need. Let's go that multiply by that. There we are. So what have we established here? What have we established here? We have established the limiting factor. How many hours are available according to the budget? How many hours are available? 6,500. So what are we saying? There's a shortfall. What is a shortfall? What is a shortfall? Hmm?
750.
So that's a shortfall that we have. Okay. I hope we are all okay at that point. And I hope the screen is big enough for us to see. So that is your step number one. What is step number two? The other steps now will somehow be combined. Other steps will be combined. So let's go. Step two is calculate contribution per unit. Let's calculate the contribution per unit. So what is the contribution per unit? You take your products which are X, Y, and Z. The selling price, and then you've got a variable cost in terms of materials and labor, and also variable overhead. Now this is why your examiners can be tough. The materials, labor, variable overhead. Now here we need to do some working. They say total budgeted overhead is 2,535, of which 20% are variable and allocated to the products on the basis of labor hours. So 20% of this. Okay. 20% of this. So let's go, let's work out. Can somebody give me the answer, please? 20% of this. What is 20%? Give me the answer.
507.
507. Okay. And what is the budgeted hours?
6,500.
Yes. So what is the rate that you get? So what is the rate?
78.
78. So let's absorb now. I hope you have all followed what we have done. So the variable overhead absorption rate. Variable overhead absorption rate is what we calculated here. Okay. So let's go now with this information. You can come here and say, okay, how many labor hours? The labor hours are here. It's this. So do you notice why we needed this? So for X, we say we take 78, multiply by what goes on X, which is that one. Okay. For Y, again, you take that one, multiply by 78. This one again, you pick that one, multiply by 78. Are we together, people? You see how involving it was, huh? That's how involving our question was. So this will now enable us to calculate our contribution per unit. So that is your contribution per unit. Okay, so that was your contribution per each unit that you would produce. Step number 3. Step number 3. Step number 3, who remembers? Contribution per what? The limiting factor. Contribution per limiting factor. So you go product that's X, that's Y, and that's Z. The contribution is here. Okay. The limiting factor this is labor hour. So that's our limiting factor here. Now, where are the labor hours? There. Here, where are the labor hours? And here, where is the labor hours? So contribution per hour. Contribution per hour, you go, okay, divided by that. So that's your contribution per limiting factor. Step number 4, we do the ranking. Step number 4, we do the ranking. That's the ranking. So let's go with the ranking. So what is the rank? Which one is number 1? Which one is number 2? Which one is number 3? So that's your ranking there. Now, before you do any production plan, you must check if they have got any contracts. Do they have any contracts? Have they entered into any agreements to supply these units? If they do, what we are going to do first is we go to those. We're going to go to those and first supply the contracts. After you've supplied the contracts, that's when we come here. So this ranking is subject to any contracts that are in place. This question has not mentioned any. So we're going to do a production plan now. So we say, okay, so according to this, which product is number 1? Product Z. So product Z, let's produce 90,000. Product Z, we're going to produce 90,000. That's what we do. So units, 90,000. Okay. Hours per unit. And the total hours. So this product, what's the hours per unit? Product Z. The hours per unit are here. And the total hours, what? By what? There we go. There we go. Next, we go to Y. Next, we go to Y. Y again, you check 70,000 units. Units. Okay. Per unit. 2625. So we go now to X. Total is 65. How much has remained from there? How much has remained? 65 minus that, minus that. How many per unit? Per unit, that's what you need. So how many units can we get out of this? You take that divided by that one. So 110 is what we can do instead of 140. So this is what we can produce from what was it remaining. So what did we do? What did we do? Let's go. We took 6,5, that one. Then you remove 1,125 and 2,625. This was the balance of what remained. Balance of hours remaining. Okay. So out of this, how do we get 110? We say, okay, so if you've got that, and each unit requires that, so just divide. Divided by 0.0250. That is what gave us the 110. Is that okay? So we are done with that. Next, what does the question ask us to do? The question goes further. It says, calculate the profit. So how much profit are we making? How much profit are we making out of these units? How much profit are we making? So to calculate the profit that we need, we go let's calculate the total profit budgeted profit. What are the budgeted profit? That's 110. What is the contribution per each unit? Contribution per unit. Let's find the contribution per unit. That one. And this one was the contribution. That one. And this one, what is the contribution? That one. So these are the contributions. Okay. So we go. What's the total here? So this is the total contribution. Total contribution. What of the fixed cost? How much is the fixed cost? How much is the fixed cost? Who can remind us? Who can remind us of the fixed cost? Let's go. There was a total of how much? 2535. 80% was fixed. 80% was fixed.
The contribution per unit is, they are not correct there.
They're not correct figures. Okay, good. We correct them. It's good. It's nice when people are following. and we can correct the figures together. Okay. So let's correct the figures that we have here. Okay. Let's calculate. Contribution figures 5.25, 14.48, 6.83. Are they the ones here? Okay, now let's do the multiplication. That multiplied by that. Okay. The person wants to ask a question, clarification. Is it okay now?
You can scroll up a bit.
Okay. So the contribution per unit, remember, it's here. These are the figures. It's not contribution per hour, no. Contribution per unit is what you need. This figure is here. Are we on the same plane?
Z is 6.83. The order there is
I hear you. 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 Z. Y. Okay. And that one. Yes, you are right. Okay, that's better now. It was a long question. So do you see that? You see, when you are doing questions like this, you must also start getting experience about your examiner. This question was way too long. Because you can imagine, if you're not careful in the exam, you can only do one question. You can end up doing only this question, only. And again, because of the variable overhead, which was tricky, and also the labor hours per unit, to me, these were tricky areas. This one and that one. You may end up getting very few marks here. Now, this is what should tell you that for this exam to pass, then what you need is this one. Maybe not so much of this, but at least, but what you do is you do your best. And sometimes also you may find that in some sittings, it will be very straightforward. But this tells you that those who did very well, they spend good amount of time doing what? Explaining these 4 points. I want you now to go back and check what factors influence the demand for management accounting. Because some of you are aware that in your organizations, you may not have management accounting per se. Some may say we don't have a management accountant in our organization. Some will say, no, as we have a management accountant and is a very important person. So the question is, what do you think drives the demand for a management accountant or management accounting information? Okay. So we hope we have learned something from this particular question. This one, we have done relevant costing, so that question now should be okay with you people. Okay. This afternoon, please, can you try this question on break-even analysis? So all of you, I'm asking you to do that question, break-even analysis. This particular question, one on page 5, do that question. Okay, this one is about the same issue. This one is about the same issue. This is relevant costing again. So you see there's a number of questions on relevant costing. This is again on relevant costing. Okay. I'm going to send you a question. It's a question I want you to do. We want to, should we close down an operation? Should we close down an operation? So, break-even analysis question on page 5, I want you to tackle it this afternoon. Then I'll send you another question on, should we close down an operation? That question also should be attempted. I'm sure today, unlike yesterday, we finished our class late. We didn't have time to practice some questions, but today I'm confident that you'll have some time to practice these questions. These questions make a lot of sense if you try them on your own. When you come to me, you have tried the questions already. So I see you tomorrow, same time. I see you tomorrow, same time. Somebody reminded me that I didn't post for yesterday. I'll post them together.